Hello again, Double Talk 73 here, the fisherman's friend. We're going to try to do something this time that maybe help the lower level players a little bit. What I'm going to do is try to show you the different techniques for lure retrieval. I come to Texas because it's free and you can come to Texas and practice. I'm going to start off with just a light rig here with a 1/4 ounce slop spoon. I keep wanting to call it a sloop. Slop spoon. Okay, we're going to fish over here by the walkway. And like I say, I'm not here to catch fish. I'm just here to show you the retrieve. So the retrieve you're going to want on this, you can have several different retrieves. Just cast out. The basic retrieve is you let it sink all the way at the bottom. And with your retrieval speed on 1, you look up here and I'll tell you what's going on. Retrieval speed of 1. That's a straight retrieve, straight and slow. Or you can click up 1 notch. Now you're on 2 speed. You see the lure will rise up off the bottom. Okay, if you click it on up to 3 speed, it's going to come up a lot faster. And it will come completely up to the top of the water. Okay. Yeah, we caught a fish. Who'd have thunk it? Yeah, we got us a little white crappie. Okay. Now, no matter what lure you're using, whether it's a spoon, let's see. Let's go here. These are all different kinds of lures I've got. See, I've got, now these night lures, okay, I got casting spoons, we got medium spoons, narrow spoons, I got a roach spoon, single spoon, the slop spoon, spider spoon, turtle spoon, X series medium, X series single, blade spinner, all of them. They all have that same method of retrieve, 1, 2, or 3 speed. But then what you do extra with your rod makes a difference too. So the most basic retrieve is the stop and go. So we're going to use a 1 speed. Okay, see, 1 speed. And most of these lures, you want them to go all the way to the bottom. Let's see, let's close this down. Here we go. And turn the camera back on. Okay, on the bottom, 1 speed, press your left mouse button, let it go. Really a few feet, let it go. You see the lure's nut doesn't have a whole lot of movement to it. But if you go to 2 speed, same thing. Stop and go. Stop and go. Press and release. Now you can do the same thing with your space bar on your keyboard. Press, let go. Press and let go. Press and let go. Now, 3 speed, it's going to get more action. See? 7. It's going to move about 4 feet at a time. Some of your heavier lures are going to move more or less depending on how fast you or how long you hold your button, your right mouse button down. Same thing with a keyboard. Press and release. Press and release. Now, when that lure is coming in, when you get blue along the bottom here, it's everybody's natural instinct to go ahead and press the reel button and up with the rod at the same time. What you've got to do, whether you use your right mouse button or the enter key on your keyboard, they'll both do the same thing. Once you get that blue, bring it up and then reel once you know you got the fish set. Okay, that's stop and go, 3 speed. That's a fairly light one. So now let's try a heavier one. Let's go with 2 ounce. Let's see, we're 2-ounce medium, X series medium. Where are you? There it is. Now you also notice how slow that lure sank. I could probably, you see what I did? It broke my rod. I put too much lure on the rod. I just broke it. Okay. Let's go back to this one. Let's see, we're going to have to put our lure back over here. That's what I get for trying to teach, isn't it? Okay, well, you learned something. Make sure, see, what I didn't look at was maximum lure weight is 1/6 to 5/8 ounce. And I put a 2-ounce lure on it. It's going to pop that. It's going to pop that rod. I can get another. I got a little bit of money up here. But anyhow, okay. So now we got a 2-ounce lure on here. Same deal. That might go all the way across the lake if I'm not careful. See how fast that sank? Now, if you put that on 1 speed, straight and slow, it's got no motion at all. 2 speed, same thing, barely. 3 speed, and all I'm doing is holding down on that mouse button. See how it comes up? Slowly, slowly. Okay. Now, same thing, stop and go. 3 speed. Keep your lure moving. Now you can bring it up higher. Now in this game, most of the time, the fish are going to strike where the lure is falling, which is just the opposite in real life. But press and release. Press and release. That's stop and go. Okay. Like I say, all the lures are the same. They work. They use the same technique no matter what they are, except one, and that's the jerkbait. We'll get to it in just a minute. Okay. Now, here's a lift and drop. I press both the right and left mouse button at the same time. Okay? See there? Lift and drop. Now, if you want more action, you just hold it longer. It brings it up higher. Press both your right and left mouse button at the same time. Lift and drop. Now, you can do that with a 2-speed too. You're not going to get as much action. You'll get more action with a lighter lure. Okay? 3-speed, more action, more movement. Okay? Both buttons at the same time. And for different fish in different places, that's very effective. Okay? Now, the hardest one to learn how to do is called twitching. And what I do with it, you want to bring it in 1-speed or 2-speed, bring your rod up, and while you're constantly reeling, and I use my space bar on the keyboard for this, while you're constantly reeling, you just keep popping that. See how hard it is? I can't get it straight. Let's try a 3-speed. So I want to stay on the bottom. Use a 1-speed. I'm just telling you, it's hard. So I'm popping my mouse button fast. Twitching is the hardest one to learn. That's what you got to do. You want a constant speed. See, it's giving me a lift and a drop that way. So this one I'm not teaching you very much on because I don't use twitching very often. Very, very rarely. So lift up. Get your rod up there. And let it settle. Oops, that's 4-speed. But that's it. That's a twitch. I know it doesn't say it, but believe me, it's twitching. Okay? Just keep that rod popping. Keep it coming in slow, keep that rod popping. Just bounce right along the bottom. Okay, that's twitching. So with all your lures, you got the same 3 types of retrieve: stop and go, lift and drop, and twitching. Now, there with your uh, other lures, let's see, top water lures. Let's use a frog. Let's use a popper. It don't matter what way. 3/4 ounce popper. Okay. This lure, the way I use it, and these are mainly bass lures, spotted, largemouth, and the way I use them is I one speed, constant reel, and pop your right mouse button. Just as the rod comes up, let it back down. Rod comes up, let it back down. See it say popping, and you'll hear it. Can you hear it pop? And that's the way I judge when to push my right mouse button. I pop it up. When the rod gets all the way back down, that's when I pop it again. Okay? That's top water with a popper. Okay? That's pretty simple. If you use a 2-speed, which 2 or 3-speed, there's nothing that I've caught on the lake. You might find something, but nothing I've caught would go into a 2 or 3-speed. Okay? Now we're going to do let's see, a frog. Okay? A frog. Frogs are walkers. See here? It says floating, top water, frog, 1/2 ounce, number 2. It works the same way. Cast it out there, and when I get close, I'm going to show you what it does. 1 speed. Okay, 1 speed. The same thing, every once in a while popping. See it say walking? And what that frog is doing is it's going left and right across the top of the water. We'll get in here close where you can see it. You'll see the movement it makes. Constant. Use my space bar on my keyboard, or you can use your left mouse. Well, I didn't have it down low enough where I could show it to you. Let's see, let's put it over here. Maybe you can see it better in this darker water, shadows. Here it comes. See it going back and forth? That's what it does. That's the movement of that lure. Back and forth. Left and right. That's what a frog walker does. Okay? And that's the thing about poppers and walkers. Depending on where you are, a walker or a frog will come across, in most instances, across lily pads. Sometimes they won't come across milfoil, but they'll come across lily pads. Okay, now here's another lure. Let's try a crank. Same thing. 1 speed, 2 speed, 3 speed. Most of the time you use a 1 speed constant retrieve. And watch where the lure goes. That's a 3-foot. See, it's just a constant retrieve. Now the thing about these is when a fish hooks, you don't have to set the hook. The rod will go up by itself. Then you can go ahead and press your right mouse button to make sure that the lure is completely set in the fish's mouth. But that's most of the time, about 85% of the time, you'll just use a 1 speed constant retrieve. Okay. Now let's see what a 2 speed will do with that same lure. See, it's just a little bit deeper. Not much, just a little bit. A good thing to do is to, whenever you're going to fish a different lake, a new lake, is to go to YouTube, type in, go to YouTube, the main channel, type in Fishing Planet, and whatever lake or river you're going to fish at, St. Croix, and whatever you want to fish there, blue catfish, muskie, pike, yellow perch, whatever, and you'll find a video. I've got 100. This one will make 163 videos out there, on a little bit of everything. I've never used a 3-speed. I've never used a 4-speed on anything other than just bringing it. I've never used a 3-speed on a crank. It moves too fast. Okay, 1 speed most of the time. Okay, let's try a deeper one. Let's see, we got a 8-foot. Okay, let's just use this one. Show you the difference. Here again, I'm going to use 1 speed. See, all it does, it rides just a little deeper in the water. Okay. Now, there's another method. Let me get an 8, see if I got an 8-foot green one. 8-foot green or 8-foot blue. If you're in Alaska and you land at the, or spawn, however you want to say it, in at the cabin, and go far left, just as far as you can walk, and use either a green one or a blue one. Either one, 8-foot, I'll use a green one. But an 8-foot green or 12-foot green or blue. And it's going to be real foggy. You throw it out there, you're on a 1-speed retrieve. But what you do, get it going, let it rise. Get it going, let it rise. Get it going. That's a stop and go with a crank. And the uni Chinook salmon, they're on a sunny morning from 5 to 6 a.m. That's pretty bad. They can't hardly resist that. And you'll catch uni Chinook salmons up there that way. And you might catch unique coho as well. But they just can't resist that. Okay? That's a stop and go with a crank. All I'm doing, either again, you can use your left mouse button or space bar on your keyboard. Crank, go. Crank, and go. Okay? Now, if y'all wondering why I come to Texas, like I said, it's free. By the way, if you like my video, hit that subscribe bar. I'd appreciate that. Okay. Now, here's another different lure. The Deep Runner. Where are you? Here we go. That's a narrow spoon. Where are my deep runners? Are they? Oh, they're considered top water. I haven't never figured that out. There it is. Triple runner. I call it deep runner. It's a triple runner. Either purple or white. It doesn't matter. They both work the same way. I like to use purple when it's clear, and on a foggy morning, I like to use a white one. In California. Okay, this one is a 1-speed retrieve. See it sinking? It'll go slowly down. But if you crank it in, this lake's not deep enough, but it'll go to 13 feet and it'll just spin there. Now you can use it as a, see, it's just going to lay down there. And you can raise your rod, you can do whatever you want to do, but it's going to go to 13 feet, and this lake's not 13 feet deep. But that's the way you retrieve that triple runner. Just a constant 1-speed. And in California, it's pretty mean off the boat dock towards the dam for Chinook salmon, steelhead. Steelhead, that's a good bait for steelhead. The half ounce and 3/4 ounce poppers, frog poppers, against the face of the dam is good for steelhead, smallmouth bass. And if you go to the last rock from the dam, over to your left, then there's some rocks with a little bit of reeds growing out just to the right of the rocks, right there in the water. If you cast just beyond those reeds, close to the bank, and use that 3/4 half ounce popper, either the red and the white or the silver and the gray on a sunny morning or a cloudy morning, you'll get some steelhead. Okay, 13 feet, triple runner, 1 speed, bam. There it is, deep part. Now I come up too close to the dock there. See, the lake's not that deep, not 13 feet deep. Okay, that's those. Okay, now there's another lure. Let's see if I can find it. I may not even have it in my inventory right now. Let's see, it might be here. Nope. Nope. Okay, let's do a spinner. Half-ounce spinner. They work the same way as your other lures. Best idea for the lighter ones is a 1 or a 2 speed retrieve. For the heavier ones, a 3 speed retrieve. They work real good at a stop and go. The main thing is you want to keep it going. Or if you keep it going with a 1 speed, it'll suspend. You stop a little bit, let it go, suspend. 1 speed. What you have to do is you have to try different lures and different techniques. Once you do your research on YouTube, see what kind of lures, what kind of fish strike. Okay? Do your research before you go to a new lake for 2 reasons. One, you know what, where, when, and how to fish that lake. And 2, what equipment are you going to need? If you got the money to buy the equipment, you wouldn't want to come here to Texas with all heavy equipment. You wouldn't dare go to Louisiana or Michigan with all light equipment. It's just going to wind up getting broke unless you put too heavy a lure on a light rod, and it's going to get broke anyhow. Okay. Now the other types of lures that we have are jigs, bass jigs, and they work pretty much just like everything else. The 3 different retrieves: stop and go, lift and drop, and twitch. There again, twitch is a hard one. These best function with the 3 speed. And I fished down in Florida in the bass competition, and this is the best lure that I've found for catching largemouth bass. And the best method is stop and go. And I just, as soon as it hits the bottom or gets anywhere close, just bring it back up about halfway, a little less than halfway, and let it bounce back down. That's the stop and go retrieve with that. Okay. The other lure that I was going to try to show you, let's see here. Spinner baits. Do I have any spinners here? I don't think I did. So what I'm going to have to do, we're going to have to leave. Okay. Got $20 that trip. Hey, that's better than 0. Not a whole lot, but a little. Now this thing takes forever here, like with all these updates, to go from one place to another. Okay, thank you. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to inventory, go to home, and let's see here. There's my spoons. Different spinners. Some of them are rewards for finish. Oh, here we go. There's a spinner. Okay. Now let's see if I've got that other lure in here too. What I'm looking for is a jerkbait. You work it kind of like a twitch or a lift and drop. I got all kinds of junk in here. There it is. There's a jerkbait. Okay. Let's see if we can put it in our backpack. Okay. It's not full. Okay, now we can go back to Texas. Can't use your boat. Okay, thank you. Go back over here again. Don't be foggy, please. Doesn't matter. We can always advance time. Oh, that brings up another subject. Your bait coins, as you earn them, unless you absolutely have to use them to advance time, don't. If you got 15, 20 minutes before your next cool down period, don't waste it with a coin. Okay, here's a spinner. Same deal. Spinners, you want a 1-speed retrieve. That's hilarious. I guess I need to go in the day, middle of the day when the fish aren't biting. Well, we got us a spotted bass. Okay, that's what it is. It's a bass lure. Okay, to 11 o'clock. I think that's in the middle of everything. Same deal. Different retrieves. Now this you would never twitch. You could lift and drop, or you could stop and go. But if this lure, you mainly want it to suspend. So you want it to go just like this. You want to keep it off the bottom. Okay? All I'm doing is stop and going, but I'm keeping it off the bottom. Or the lift and drop, both. And you'll get, see, it's not moving 44. It's moving 2 feet, getting all that action with 2-speed. Okay? And there again, twitching, but that's something you just have to practice and work on. I showed you how, but I'm not good at it. I don't use something I'm not good at, and I try to work something else. Okay? Now, let's see what we got here. I think my jerkbait will be here, if I remember right. We'll find out in just a second. Was that it? There we go, jerkbait. Okay. This is kind of a different one for bass. Okay? We're going to do a 3-speed. Let her sink down some. Come on. Get on down there. See, it's a light lure, so it takes a while to spin. And we want to do like a lift and a drop. Okay? A lift and a drop. Oh, oops, sorry, 4-speed. Or we can do a lift. Or you can do it this way. I know this looks silly. Tighten it up. Tighten it up. Tighten it up. I don't use this bait very often. Very, very rarely. Because it hangs up on a lot of stuff. But that's the way you do it. Let it settle down. Tighten it up. Okay, that's the jerkbait. The spoons are essentially the same, all of them the same. It doesn't matter what spoon. There again, be sure you. I got a hefty rig here, rod and reel, so I'm not worried about the weight of the lure now. Not like I was when I broke the other one. Spoons, you can come in with a 3-speed, 2-speed, 1-speed, and suspend them. Okay, 2-speed will suspend again, but you're going to have to stop it and keep it working. Or you can let it go at the bottom, stop and go. And when you get where you can use any lure with any of these retrieve techniques, you'll have her pretty well whooped, because that way you'll have it set. There's one more. We have jigs and nymphs, or jigs and worms. Okay. It's not going to let me put a. Oh yes, excuse me. You have to put a jig on first. I like my 6/7 ounce. X, and at night I like the 4-inch or the 5-inch worm for in Michigan for walleyes off the lighthouse, or the 3-inch worm in New York or Emerald Lake for the uni sauger over off the rock ledge. Okay, oops, same way, same deal. These most than likely you use a 3-speed. Let them sink, stop and go, and you don't move them very far. Now this one and the purple 5-inch, purple 5-inch works really good for walleyes on peaks on cloudy or rainy days in St. Croix, either fishing off the dock towards a big tall tree over there on Sandy, or fishing on the right side of the buoy on the end of the dock opposite the ladder if you got a boat or rent a boat. Okay, that's basically it. Now there's one other type of soft lure. It's a nymph, and I like this one right here, this X series. When I go to Alaska and I want to catch pink salmon or sockeye salmon, this is the cat's meow. 3-speed, stop and go, just like that. And you can fish in swift water out there where everybody's catching the Chinooks, the cohos, and you'll catch just as many as most people will. They like it. They like it a lot. Stop and go. And that's about every kind of lure that we've got. The narrow spoons. Now, if you go to New York, before I broke that rod, you can take a light outfit. When you first start, stay in Texas till you get to about level 9 or 10. Use that slop spoon and fish over here. Go into the middle of the bridge, right in here. Cast that slop spoon right in here and right in here. And every peak, either one of those areas, you'll catch spotted bass, which is the best paying fish here on it. And I know it gets boring when you're trying to grind to get to that next level. I know it is. But if you enjoy this game, that's the way you learn the game. Don't come in at level 5, level 6, get a pond pass, and go to Michigan or Florida or any of those big lakes or San Joaquin. A buddy of mine was fishing out on the island catching sturgeon on San Joaquin. He catches a little bit of everything with duck meat. I started nicknaming him Duck. Anyhow, he was catching sturgeon 45, 50 pounds. The guy, a level 5, got him a pond pass, came out there and said, "What are you catching sturgeon with?" He said, "Duck meat." So he put a piece of duck meat on his rod, cast it out there, hooked something, broke his rod, destroyed his reel, and left. So he didn't have a clue what he needed when he went out there. Do your research. Go to YouTube, Fishing Planet, whatever. Fishing Planet, mudwater catfish, mudwater crappie, mudwater bluegill, mudwater uni bluegill. You know, do your research so that you know what to take so you don't get there. Now, the other thing is, whenever you buy anything, lures, rods, reels, line, bait, uh, any kind of accoutrements to your fishing adventure, don't buy them unless you absolutely have to on the lake where you're at, because it's going to cost you a whole lot more. Okay, buy them out here on your main screen. Go to your shop and buy whatever you need. uh, Large minnows out here on this, I think they're $9.50. Let's have a look. Baits, fresh baits, large minnows. There's shiners. large minnows, $950 for 5. Now that's kind of expensive. That's about $175 a piece. But if you go to St. Croix and you're using large minnows and you get closer, or to Louisiana or Florida, wherever, they're $1,450 for that same 5. So now you're talking about almost $300 a piece. So if you're using a $300 piece of bait and catching a $250 fish, you're just going to need a bigger truck. They're just, you're going backwards. The good thing about fishing with lures, there again, do your research. What lures will catch what fish? When you go to a lake, you can, let's see, St. Croix, fish species, okay? You can see here, American shad. They'll take shrimp, small minnows. They'll also use spinners, shad, grubs, worms, and tubes, okay? They all work the same way. 1, 2, 3 speed, stop and go, lift and drop. Catfish. Catfish love large cut. I'll tell you something else they do. They like crawfish. But large cut and duck meat is the way to fish for blues. Believe me. But it says they'll hit shads, craws, and crayfish. Now I never got them to hit but I've had them hit crankbaits, fishing for other stuff. Brown trout. See, same thing. Do your research and see what you need. See, no lures for brown bullhead. They won't hit a lure. They'll hit those. They also like small minnows. Clear muskie, large minnows. Bing. That's about it, buddy. Believe me. They hit shiners every once in a while. But if you want a uni, you're going to use a large minnow. Now they like that top water popper, that orange and yellow one. In that competition, musky topping. That's what I use. Third place, best I've ever done in it, but that's what I use. Okay, that's about it, I guess. Not a whole lot else I can help you with. Go to the map, see what the fish species are, decide what you want to catch, and then go to YouTube and do a search on Fishing Planet, whatever the lake or river is, and what you're wanting to catch. And then try not to look at the ones that are 3, 4, and 5 years old. With all these updates, if you don't have one that's a month old, 2 months old, that's not going to tell you a lot. Okay, but that's it. So I hope I helped you some. All I do is I try. So thanks for watching. Good luck, tight lines. God bless you and your families. Please subscribe if you get a chance. And in your comments, if there's something that you would like to see me try to go over or try to help you catch, or something that you need, put it in a comment and I'll do the best that I can to come up with a video to help you out. And just keep coming back, and hopefully it'll be there. So thanks again, and I appreciate y'all very much. So I'll catch you later. Y'all come back now, you hear?